The first time I realized my best friend was trying to steal my boyfriend, she didn't know I was standing behind the door. I heard her voice first, soft, confident, and then she laughed. Not the laugh she used with me for 10 years. This one sounded different, calculated. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. Relax, give it a few weeks. He'll forget about her. For a second, I just stood there in the hallway, frozen, because the her she was talking about was me. And the guy she was talking about, my boyfriend, the billionaire she thought she could take. 2 months earlier, my life had been painfully ordinary. I lived in a tiny apartment that always smelled faintly like instant noodles. My couch was secondhand, my kitchen table had a small crack running across the middle, and my job? Let's just say my bank account and my bills had a very unhealthy relationship. But through all of that, there was one constant: my best friend, Maya. We'd been inseparable for almost 10 years. We met in college during a group project where neither of us actually wanted to do the work. She was the loud one, the confident one, the kind of girl who could walk into a room full of strangers and leave with 5 new friends and someone offering her a job. I was the opposite: quiet, observant, the one who preferred sitting near the window and watching people instead of talking to them. But somehow it worked. For years, she was the person I trusted most in the world, which is why what happened later felt like the ground disappearing under my feet. Then Daniel walked into my life, and everything started changing. We met in the most boring way imaginable, a small neighborhood coffee shop, the kind with mismatched chairs and indie music playing softly in the background. I was typing on my laptop when a tall guy walked over and pointed at the empty seat across from me. "Is this taken?" he asked. His voice was calm, almost shy. I shook my head. No. He sat down, ordered coffee, and pulled out a book. No designer suit, no flashy watch, no bodyguards, just a normal guy reading quietly. About 20 minutes later, he glanced at my laptop screen. "Are you writing something?" he asked. "Trying to," I said. That simple question turned into a conversation, and that conversation turned into 3 hours. By the time the cafe owner turned off half the lights to signal closing time, we were still talking. That was the beginning. For the next few weeks, Daniel and I kept meeting there. Coffee, walks, long conversations that somehow never felt long enough. He never talked about money, not once. In fact, if anything, he avoided the topic. I assumed he was successful, maybe owned a company. But billionaire? That truth didn't show up until much later. The first time Maya met him was at a rooftop restaurant downtown. Warm lights hung above the tables, music drifted softly across the night air. Daniel stepped away to take a phone call, and Maya leaned across the table toward me. Her eyes followed him. "Okay," she whispered. "He's hot." I laughed. "Relax." But she didn't laugh back. Instead, she asked something that felt oddly serious. "What does he do exactly?" I shrugged. "Something in business?" Her eyebrow lifted slowly. "Something in business?" Daniel came back a moment later and the conversation ended. But Maya didn't stop watching him, not once. 2 weeks later, Daniel invited me to a charity gala. I almost refused. My closet didn't exactly scream formal event, but he insisted. "I'll take care of everything," he said. The night of the event, a black Rolls Royce pulled up outside my apartment. I stared at it through the window for a full 10 seconds before walking outside. The driver opened the door like this was completely normal. Inside the car, Daniel looked nervous, which confused me, because when we arrived at the hotel, the entire room changed the moment he walked in. People recognized him immediately. Executives shook his hand, investors greeted him like an old friend, and that's when it hit me. Something was very different about this man. Finally, I leaned closer and whispered, "Daniel, what do you actually do?" He hesitated, then he sighed. I own the company hosting the event. I blinked. What company? When he said the name, my brain took a second to catch up, because it was one of the biggest tech companies in the world, the kind you hear about on the news, the kind worth billions. I laughed because I thought he was joking. He wasn't. When I told Maya about it the next day, she went quiet. Not shocked, not excited, just quiet. Then she said something that felt oddly serious. Wow. Pause. You got lucky. The words sounded like a compliment, but the tone didn't. After that, she started showing up more. Dinner invitations, weekend plans, random visits. At first I thought she just liked Daniel, but slowly, little things started to feel wrong. She laughed louder when he talked, touched his arm during conversations, complimented him constantly, and once, when she thought nobody was looking, I saw her fixing her hair in the reflection of his car window. That was the first moment something inside me whispered, "Pay attention." Then came the night where everything became clear. Daniel had invited a few friends to his penthouse. Music played softly, the city lights stretched across the windows like a glowing ocean. I stepped into the hallway to grab my phone. That's when I heard Maya's voice coming from the study. She was talking to someone. I didn't mean to listen, but then she said something that stopped me cold. Honestly, she's sweet, but she's not his type long term. My chest tightened. Someone asked her something I couldn't hear. Then Maya answered. He just doesn't know it yet. Silence filled the hallway. Then she said the line that changed everything. Give me a few weeks. I didn't confront her, not immediately. Instead, I waited, because sometimes the truth reveals itself when people think you're not watching. And Maya, she got bolder. Messages to Daniel, late-night texts, business advice, random check-ins. Then, one night, Daniel showed me his phone. He said, "Maya sent this." The message read, "You deserve someone who understands your world." And below it, a red heart. Not the friendly kind, the intentional kind. Daniel looked carefully at me. Is something going on with her? So I told him everything. The conversation, the comments, all of it. He listened quietly, then leaned back in his chair. "Good," he said. I frowned. "Good?" He nodded. I thought I was imagining it. A week later, Daniel invited Maya to dinner, just the three of us. Same rooftop restaurant where she first met him. The city lights shimmered below us. Maya arrived wearing a red dress that definitely wasn't casual. Halfway through dinner, Daniel placed his glass down. "Maya," he said calmly. Her smile widened. "Yes?" He looked directly at her. "Why are you trying to sabotage my relationship?" The table went silent. The kind of silence that makes every sound disappear. Maya laughed nervously. "I have no idea what you mean." Daniel pulled out his phone, placed it on the table. Messages, screenshots, everything. He didn't yell, he didn't argue, he just let the truth sit there. And slowly, Maya's confidence collapsed. She looked at me, but I didn't say a word, because the truth didn't need my help anymore. She left 5 minutes later. No apology, no explanation, just anger and embarrassment. 10 years of friendship ended that night. Later that evening, Daniel and I stood by the window of his penthouse. The entire city glowed beneath us, thousands of lights in the darkness. I asked him quietly, "Did the money ever make you worry about people's intentions?" He nodded slowly, "All the time." Then he looked at me. "But you met me before you knew." I smiled, because he was right. And sometimes the biggest betrayal in your life doesn't come from strangers. It comes from someone who stood beside you for years, waiting for the moment they thought they could take your place. And the worst part, she didn't lose because Daniel chose me. She lost because the moment she tried to steal someone else's life, she exposed exactly who she really was.